Fort Vengeance, the last redoubt, blood, fire, and glory in a doomed stand. The storm breaks. The early morning fog cloaks the mountain pass, thick as ash. Inside Fort Vengeance, every man knows they've been left behind. Radio static fills the command room. No reinforcements, no retreat, just the dull thud of distant artillery echoing closer. Captain Reyes checks his map. 3 enemy columns closing in. Hold this line or die trying, he mutters. Machine gunners load belts. Snipers take positions atop broken towers. Below, the jungle stirs, then erupts. Mortars rain down, turning trees into firestorms. Dirt and blood explode into the air. The outer trench collapses under the first wave. Enemy soldiers charging, screaming through the smoke. Reyes shouts orders, boots pounding through mud. Men fall, others reload. Chaos reigns. And as the fort shakes under another barrage, one thing becomes clear. This is no longer a battle. It's a last stand. Smoke thickens. The air is poison. Limbs lie scattered across the yard. The wounded scream, some silenced by mercy shots. Reyes leads a push to retake the courtyard. Every step over shattered concrete and body parts. Gunfire bursts from windows, defenders firing from above. Molotovs rain down. The enemy surges again. One soldier, bloodied and limping, dives into a trench with a satchel of explosives. He doesn't come back out. A thunderous boom halts the advance, but the cost is staggering. The courtyard becomes a meat grinder. Enemy machine guns pin Reyes and his last squad behind overturned crates. A medic is hit trying to drag a child away. One of the civilians still hiding in the infirmary. Reyes looks up. Artillery whistles overhead. He smiles bitterly. Let them come, he says, reloading. This fort was never meant to be taken, and they'll pay for every inch. The southern wall shatters with a deafening blast. Concrete rains down. Smoke pours through the breach like a living thing. Enemy infantry surge forward, faces painted black, rifles blazing. Inside, chaos. Reyes pulls his sidearm and joins the fight. The defenders, what's left of them, are forced into brutal hand-to-hand combat. Knives flash, rifles used as clubs. Screams echo against the stone. The fort's narrow corridors become slaughter alleys. Blood slicks the stairs. A flamethrower ignites a hallway. Both enemy and friendly caught in the inferno. A wounded radio man crawls over corpses to call for support that won't come. Above them, the observation tower crumbles in flames. And still they fight. Not for victory, but vengeance. Not for orders, but each other. As grenades explode and screams fade into static, Fort Vengeance becomes a tomb. Its defenders etching their story into every scorched wall and bloodied stone. The night sky glows red. Bombers appear as black shadows against the flames. The earth trembles. One by one, the fort's bunkers collapse into rubble. Reyes, covered in ash, leads survivors into the inner keep. Above them, a flare arcs, green light bathing the fort in sickly glow. The final assault begins. Enemies breach from every side, dropping from ropes, crawling through collapsed tunnels. Reyes grips a shotgun and charges into the smoke. Behind him, men and women fight with knives, axes, bare hands. Screams echo off burning stone. A makeshift barricade is the last line. A young soldier lights a trail of gasoline. Flames rush toward the tunnel as enemies pour in. The explosion lights the courtyard like day. The enemy stumbles, but not enough. Reyes limps back into the keep, breathing hard, bleeding from the temple. They want the fort. They'll have to bury us with it. Only the central redoubt remains. The wounded lie silent in corners. The defenders, down to dozens, gather for what feels like the end. Ammunition is nearly gone. Some carry only knives. Reyes tapes a pistol to his thigh and surveys the last room standing. He sees the faces of comrades, friends, strangers bound by blood. Then, impact. The roof quakes. Doors explode inward. Enemy stormtroopers flood the chamber. It's pure carnage. Men scream, clash, fall. Bodies collide in desperate frenzy. Blood runs like water. Reyes is thrown against a wall, coughing blood. Beside him, a young private fights off 3 men with a broken shovel. There is no formation, no command. Only survival, only fury. Smoke fills the room as someone sets off a final charge, collapsing the front wall. As the dust clears, the floor is littered with corpses. Reyes stands barely, still breathing, still defiant. Dawn breaks, but the sun doesn't rise. It creeps over carnage. The battlefield is silent save for crows. Reyes drags himself through the rubble. Half his body is burned, like shattered. Around him, no movement, just silence and ash. A final radio call crackles through a buried headset. Static, then a voice. This is command. Fort Vengeance status. Reyes laughs dryly. No status, no soldiers, just ghosts. He crawls to the last flagpole. The flag is torn, half hanging. He raises it. With his last ounce of strength, he ties it off and lies back, staring at the rising smoke. In the hills, the enemy halts. They don't advance. Fort Vengeance didn't fall. It bled. It burned. But it held. And in the silence, its defenders whisper to eternity. They didn't win. They endured. And sometimes that's greater. Weeks later, the battlefield lies untouched. Bodies still unburied. Walls still scorched black. Journalists arrive, stepping over bones. The world had written them off. But the story spreads like wildfire. A last stand that defied logic. That rewrote valor. Captain Reyes' body is found beneath the flag, still gripping a rusted pistol. The walls are painted with soot, blood, and words scratched in steel. Fort Vengeance. A monument is raised, but not for victory. For sacrifice. For defiance. Veterans whisper his name. Soldiers remember. And in the silence of that ruined hill, something remains. Not just stone, not just memory. A fire that says, you cannot take what refuses to surrender. Fort Vengeance becomes legend. Its name, a battle cry. Its stand, immortal. And as history turns its gaze to newer wars, this one still echoes. In every soldier who swears, if the line must hold, let it hold here. Like, share, and subscribe to honor the fallen legends of history. Stand with the brave. Remember Fort Vengeance.